Charlie McConalogue. You have 30 seconds to put your question.
Minister, this is to ask you when a site is expected to be purchased to accommodate the three-school campus in Buncrana, County Donegal, the timeline of works to ensure that the school campus is completed as soon as possible, and if you will make a statement on the matter.
McConalogue for raising this. As you know, we did have a meeting on this not so long ago. The Deputy is aware that the project in respect of the education campus in Buncrana is included on the Department's capital programme. The Department is working closely with Donegal County Council in relation to the proposed site acquisition. The site acquisition process to date has been protracted. A number of options are available to progress the site acquisition process, and these options are being thoroughly appraised in order to ensure value for money for the state. Officials in my department are working with council officials to determine the most appropriate next steps, and the school authorities will be kept informed of developments. I met recently with representatives of the school concerned, and I can assure the Deputy that every effort is being made to expedite the site acquisition process. Once the site acquisition is complete, the project can progress to architectural planning stage.
Thank you, Cahirla, and thank you, Minister, for the response. As you will be well aware, the three-school campus is to accommodate three schools, those being Cranach College Secondary School, Gael College Buncrana Primary School, and also College Kinyaloan Gael School Secondary School, Minister. And these schools are at their wits' end in relation to the delays, Minister, in first of all acquiring a site, and second of all in actually moving the process forward towards the development and building of new schools to accommodate their needs. The premises they're in at the moment are not suitable. Cranach College is cramped with a number of prefabs and no more space available. College Kinyaloan is based in Tullyarvin Mill, which isn't ideal either. And also Buncrana Gael School is accommodated in Buncrana Youth Club. And again, it's not ideal in any way for a school, and they badly need a new premises. Now, it's long past time that dilly-dallying stopped from the department. In my view, Minister, it has been very badly mishandled over the last number of years, and there has been no progress to date. It can't move forward without a site actually being acquisitioned. I acknowledge that you met the school representatives recently along with the ETB at the request of the ETB and the chairperson of the ETB, indeed, Councillor Rena Donaghy, who is from Buncrana and pushing this very hard as well. But can you give a timeline now and a commitment that you will prioritise the purchasing of a site, and we will at last see some progress on this?
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
I think the Deputy is aware we had a meeting up there, and I did take the opportunity when I was in Donegal to meet those concerned about this. I don't think it's fair to say there hasn't been considerable effort put in there. A number of site options were explored by the local authority on our behalf. There were negotiations initiated with the only landowner that was in a position or willing to negotiate. They have proven unsuccessful, and there's continuing work to see can we find a solution, and every option will be considered, and the local authority has undertaken work indeed even since the meeting that we had in Donegal to see can we find a route to a solution to this. It is just a particularly difficult one, and I fully acknowledge the frustration of those involved, but I can assure you that there is an absolute determination to try and push on with this, but we will have to do so on the basis of the best advice, and we are obtaining the information necessary for that.
Thank you. Final comment, Deputy.
Thank you, Minister. I might remind you that this is the second occasion now in which a site assessment process has been undertaken by the Department. We had one about 4 years ago, which was completed by the ETB at that stage, where they identified the preferred sites and indeed were engaging with the Department with a view to actually commencing negotiations. Your Department then restarted that process and asked Donegal County Council to do the same process, basically going over the same ground again, meaning that we weren't going forward. It's long past time now, Minister, that this was brought to a head, and we actually see negotiations completed and no more delaying and standing back from the situation. I know you've indicated that all options will be considered. I think it's important all options are. I know it's been discussed previously in relation to the potential for negotiations, and indeed the option of looking at whether a CPO is a potential as either. I think the preferred option has to be agreement and negotiation with the preferred landowners, Minister. But The most important thing is that we see the department prioritise this, engage and actually bring it to a head, because it has to be brought to a head. And then once we have the site secured, we can move on to architectural planning and actually developing and building the schools. But unfortunately, until the site is secured, none of that can happen. So can you give us maybe a timeline, Minister, and an utmost assurance that the department will prioritise this and actually ensure that the site acquisition process is expedited?
Thank you. Final comment, Minister.
Well, I can assure you that there's no unwillingness to prioritise this, and I also do not believe that the switch to Donegal County Council, which is the pattern right across the whole department's portfolio, that switch is not the cause of the delay in this instance. There are genuine underlying problems that we need to try and sort out, and I think I share the deputy's sense of urgency around this, but nonetheless we have to find, as the deputy said, we have to find a solution. We have to find a way in which a suitable site can be procured, and the department will work to achieve that.
Thank you. That's the end of that question. Now we move to question hook jig in the name of Deputy Thomas Byrne. 30 seconds to put your question.
The question is to the Minister, really, is, and I said this yesterday in the committee, I think the Minister now is fast becoming the Minister presiding over a collapse in the school capital programme, because whatever money has been there is in fact been eaten up by increased building costs and increased land costs, and I want the Minister's response to that.
My department's capital programme continues to address the challenges posed by the significant bulge in pupil enrolments going through our schools. There has been a significant expansion in the rate of provision of new school places. The capital programme details the school projects that are being progressed through architectural planning process. We are building more schools and providing more additional school places than ever before. This reflects the priority which the government is placing on education. We've doubled the number of school places being provided from 8,900 in 2010 to 18,000 in 2017. We've also increased the number of large-scale project completions from 25 in 2010 to 50 in 2016, 46 in 2017. Since 2011, some 340 major school projects and over 120,000 new and replacement places have been provided. In addition, there are currently a total of 52 large-scale projects under construction, while a further 11 major projects with approval to advance to tender and construction are expected to commence on-site shortly. A further 22 large-scale projects are due to commence tendering over the coming months and are expected to start on-site during 2018. This represents a total of 85 projects either under construction or progressing to commence construction in 2018. Over 80% of our schools' capital allocation has to be expended on the delivery of large-scale projects and additional accommodation scheme. The department is managing the school building programme in a manner which ensures that school projects in architectural planning process are delivered as quickly as possible. There are a number of factors, however, such as difficulties with acquiring sites and issues arising in planning process that have impacted on the pace of progress of projects announced. These issues are, in the majority of cases, outside the department's control. The department is in ongoing liaison directly with each of these schools in relation to ongoing progression of their projects in the architectural and planning process. In relation to the adequacy of funding, the department is satisfied that the €8.4 billion investment in the National Development Plan 2018 to 27 is sufficient to deliver the necessary school infrastructure over the next decade.